Hey special educators, Jennifer from Positively Learning. Welcome to Random Data Collection Tips. I am starting a new series of videos where I'm just going to be sharing randomly what worked for me as I collected data on the daily. Let me know if you have any questions, and my goal is to gather up all of this information and your questions and put them into a logical sequence for the Special Educators Resource Room podcast. So stay tuned. All right, today's random tip is all about small groups. So throughout the day, whether I was in the resource room setting or the inclusion classroom, I was polling small groups, maybe 5 or 6 groups a day. And in each group, I had 2 students in mind that I was going to be getting a data point from. And they didn't know this. They didn't know which 2 at all. It was just the 2 that were in my mind. So if I saw 5 groups that day, I would be checking in with 10 students. I often did this Monday through Thursday, so you can see how many students, that's 40 students I've checked in with, or students I've checked in multiple times with. And then I often left Friday, which is kind of a mess of a day sometimes. I would keep that for like getting those students I was not able to see. So here's how I chose my students. On Monday, I always put those tough to check in with. Maybe I didn't see them very often, or maybe they were frequently absent. So if I started on Monday and they weren't there, I could quickly recollect myself and then put them on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, whenever they came. So I was ready to grab data whenever they were there. I took advantage of it. So in my small groups, we often just did a quick sorting activity, a warm-up. We played Kaboom or played Blast, something that was very knowledge recall based. It was a great time to check in with those 2 students and grab a quick data point. If my student had 5 turns, if the cards were going around, 5 cards to read or solve, I could collect some data. Oh, you got 3 out of 5. I've got that down. During the guided practice, I'm usually at a horseshoe table, students are working, I can be pushing in, quickly do some observation to grab a quick data point from that. Same thing with our close down. It was often a performance assessment, also maybe recall based, but it was a great time to get some informal data. Is this data like the very best to use for IEP report cards? Maybe not. But I worked with young students who are always changing rapidly. I like to collect multiple points of data so I could get that holistic picture on how they were doing. By zoning in on 2 students and being prepared to check in with these 2 students helped me make sure I got it done. Is that tip helpful for you? Let me know in the comments and stay tuned for the next tip.